Monday, April the 10th, and this is what's happening in the condo market this week. The first article I want to bring to your attention is from MoveSmartly.com. The headline is New Listings Surge 62% as Toronto homeowners cash in on a hot real estate market. So this article is talking about the fact that it seems we may be experiencing a shift in the resale market just in the past week or two. A lot of realtors on the ground, myself included, have noticed an increase in listings coming out and a decrease in the number of multiple offers. So whereas 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, any property coming to the market would get, say, 10 offers. Now we're seeing 2, 3, 4 offers. Some properties are actually not even selling on their offer date. And so what seems to be driving it is there is a lot more selection out there for buyers in the resale market all of a sudden. Now this is a normal seasonal thing that does happen every spring, especially around Easter time. We do see a boost in new listings hitting the market every year. Keep in mind, we're still not technically in the heart of the spring market. The busiest time of year for real estate in Toronto is always May or June. May or June are always the peak months for real estate activity in Toronto, and we're still in early April. So we still have a long way to go to get through the traditional spring market, so we'll see how this market goes. But again, a lot of anecdotal evidence coming in from realtors on the ground that there's been a bit of a shift in the market. And we are seeing, as John's pointed out in this article, we are seeing in some, well, certainly at the freehold market, we're seeing a big increase in new listings compared to the amount of new listings that came onto the market at the same time a year ago. So that's a trend to watch. Next article is from CBC. Developers tell province high density rules fueling GTA red hot market. Subheader, building industry argues limited housing supply is chief cause of GTA's soaring real estate market. So again, a lot of the provincial budget is coming down sometime in the next few weeks. We don't have an exact date, but it's imminent. And a lot of posturing back and forth between the real estate industry and the politicians as to, you know, what is going to happen, what needs to be done to rein in, cool down, whatever you want to call it, the red hot real estate market. Everyone agrees that, you know, 25, 30%, 33% price increases are not healthy for the market, not sustainable, and they should probably do something. I'm on record as saying, you know, I'm not a big fan of government intervention, but in the markets, but of course, even I would agree that, you know, it's not a bad idea to do something when prices are increasing at 33% a year. Not a healthy trend to be on. So what's going to happen exactly, no one knows. Like I said, lots of posturing back and forth. The building industry is basically arguing, look, it's a supply issue. We need to free up more land. We need to speed up the development approval process so we can build more homes. Pointing out the fact that, you know, 10 years ago, there were about 17,000 low-rise homes available for sale, new. Today, 10 years later, it's gone from 17,000 to 1,000 low-rise homes. Now, obviously, a big part of that is the shift that has taken place since 2005, since the Places to Grow Act was put in place, since the Greenbelt was put in place, and just the natural maturation of the city where the shift has gone from low-rise housing to high-rise housing. It's flipped. And that is not going to change. Like, the future of Toronto is definitely in high-rise. The future of housing in the GTA is definitely in condominiums. We're going to see less and less low-rise homes as a percentage of the overall new product being added to the market. That's not going to change. So certainly interesting time, certainly interesting to see how this is all going to play out in the weeks ahead. Rent control. Rent control is a big issue in the media, it seems. I did a big podcast on this. I want to highlight this article again from Benjamin Tal of CIBC. I think it's a fantastic article outlining the against rent control side of the equation, obviously, of which I am on. Again, big believer in free markets and letting the markets do what they do and not intervening. So Benjamin Tal, a couple of great quotes from other economists in his article about rent control, which for me, you know, encapsulates my side of it. In many cases, rent control appears to be the most efficient technique presently known to destroy a city, except for bombing. Pretty extreme, but you get the point. The next quote, the introduction of rent control is politically feasible only in areas with no recent experience because only an electorate uninformed of its consequences will support it. And to me, that's the most powerful and most useful quote to us as Torontonians, as Ontarians, as we look at how potentially rent control could be introduced in the condominium market. Currently, there is no rent control, of course. We need to really study and look back at the past and understand why rent control was put in the first place. And putting it in now, to me, would be a huge mistake and would have really the exact opposite effect of what they're trying to do, which is to make housing more affordable for more people. So I'll include a link to that there, of course. And finally, the last article from BNN. Again, mostly anecdotal evidence coming in now from Vancouver about the market there, but we're starting to see some numbers as well. Vancouver housing market sees signs of stabilization with March sales. Talking to realtors and people on the ground in Vancouver, it's much more than just stabilization. The market there, I believe, is about to soar once again. Point being that all the measures and everything that were put in place in Vancouver a year ago, or less than a year ago, have seemingly worn off, and the same issues, they will soon be facing the exact same issues that they faced a year ago in that marketplace there, with rapidly rising prices, shortage of homes and condos available for sale, new condos selling out overnight, record prices happening every month. That is exactly what's happening there again. So it's, again, it goes to policy can only do so much. Restrictions on money and where you can spend and how you can spend and where you can invest will only do so much. Money and investment in real estate, much like water, always finds its level. If you put up a barricade over here, it's going to go over there, and so on. You know, it goes to the story that in our big cities in Canada, especially Toronto and Vancouver, they are extremely desirable places to live, to work, and to invest, and that's going to continue. We may have some ups and downs, of course, as always in the market over the short term, but over the long term, these are very stable markets. These are, cities that pretty much anybody in the world is envious of and would like to be a part of, whether it's to live, to invest, to work. Canada is amazing. Canada is a great country. We should be proud, and we should expect, as real estate investors, as condo investors, prices to continue to rise over the long term. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next week, talk to you soon.